So we try to create this kind of an app that is that can be used by anyone. So it has to be designed nicely, it has to be nice to look at, nice to use, and very straightforward to navigate. So kind of like the simple one-click solution, because even with centralized exchanges now, it's very ambiguous. I remember the first time when I was opening centralized exchanges, I had to go to YouTube and search for different how-to videos and guides because you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. There's limited guidance. So we're trying to avoid this.
Greetings, everybody. It's me, Bryn from MarketSquare.io, and I am here today with the amazing Ksenia Bazian of Polkadx. Welcome.
Hi, Bryn. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have you here today. So obviously, with the way these things work, just a little bit of an introduction. Could you tell me a little bit about how you got into the world of crypto and, moreover, decentralized finance?
Definitely. I think I had quite a long journey of disbelief, as many people in crypto. So I first learned about Bitcoin from a friend of mine who was on the mining side. But to be honest, I didn't pay that much attention to this. It was about 5 years ago. So I heard him talking about this for a couple of years, and then I decided to check actually how is it working, what is it, and I was amazed because my background is in banking and finance. So initially I wanted to be in traditional finance, but it somehow never worked out for me. And when I learned about digital assets and about decentralized finance, I was thinking that some missing puzzle is finally in its place, because when I was studying, I used to ask a lot of weird questions like, did people just gather and decided that money is going to have this value and these things are going to work in this way? So I think my parents were really worried that they're wasting the money on my education. But when I came into crypto, I realized that a lot of people have been asking these questions, and the traditional financial structures are relatively new to everyone. So after that, I started learning more about crypto and just investing a bit, trading, learning different techniques. But it never occurred to me that I can work professionally and move full-time into blockchain marketing. So I started working in crypto somehow accidentally from an offer sent to me through the LinkedIn. And then I was deeply immersed in the space and decided that this is the place I want to be.
Oh, okay, it's fantastic. So I don't think anybody really ever envisions themselves being in the blockchain space. Even for myself, I kind of got into it almost accidentally, as you said, and call it serendipity, if you will. But so you actually wanted to be more in traditional finance and banking, and it kind of has gone completely the other direction.
I wouldn't say completely the other direction. I tried myself. I had my first internship and literally said never again since the first day. So I would say that now it's kind of going in the same direction, but pivoting a bit to the future of finance.
Yeah, that's definitely where it's at, in my opinion. I think the legacy finance system, it's pretty clear that it's not really working out too well. So these solutions are long overdue.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. Now, on your Twitter profile, I see that you recently held a workshop in Morocco with Plug and Play Tech Center, I think that is. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It was an amazing experience. It was actually my first workshop abroad. And in marketing, I really like the aspect of education because there are so many things that you can tell from your personal experience. There are so many new trends that are very interesting to try. So this experience was, I was given a workshop and I was giving mentorship sessions to North African startups, which I found incredible for me, both from professional perspective and just actually seeing what's out there and where the industry is moving. Also, I think quite a few of those startups, they were in completely different industries, completely different stages, but quite a few of them had a real use case for the blockchain, which is also very interesting for me.
Okay. And can you mention any of those startups, some by name or anything in particular that you found interesting?
I think what was the most challenging for me, probably professionally, there's a startup called Emata. They're based in Uganda and they're doing the loans for farmers.
Hmm.
So for me, it was challenging because the first thing that they told me that the only thing that they can do in marketing is SMS, just because
Hmm.
people don't use smartphones.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was an interesting experience for consulting this type of project.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of projects do have certain limitations in terms of how far they can go. They have all these wonderful ideas, and they need that mentorship and they need that guidance so they can find ways around those obstacles. So I'm sure that your workshops were very informative for them.
Thank you.
All right, yeah. So the main, obviously, you're the CMO of Polkadex, and that's a really big deal. And you guys recently launched your mainnet, which is, congratulations, fantastic. It's a major milestone. What has the feedback been like so far?
So far, it has been really going well. So we have over 500,000 of PDEX tokens staked at the mainnet now, which is a big deal.
Mm.
We're also having over 50 validators and aiming to go closer to 100 validators. We have a lot of really good feedback, a lot of community involvement of different partners working with us, community creating videos, creating guides. So the feedback has been overwhelmingly good. Yeah, so going well by far.
Oh, that's fantastic news. Not that we really doubted it. I think just watching the progress with the project and obviously having written about it and researched it personally, it's very very impressive what you guys are doing. A lot of world firsts really for DeFi and for crypto, and the community involvement, as you say, has been enormous from what I can tell. And it's great to hear that you've had such unanimously good feedback on the whole package, I guess, combining the best parts of CeFi with DeFi. Um, yeah, but that's amazing, of course. Um, so with Polkadex, of course, it's a team effort. It's an ambitious project. There's no doubt about that. What is the team like, and how have they influenced the way you view the world of blockchain technology?
I feel like we're a perfect blockchain team in the sense that when someone is asking me where is Polkadex based, we're global. We
Mm.
are completely scattered all over the world. So I think the only continent that Polkadex does not cover yet is Australia. So
Mm.
everything else is covered. We have a team of really brilliant people. We are at the moment very heavily focused on development. So majority of people in the company are developers. But we're also, meanwhile, building up the business team through marketing, through business development, and the management functions. Because I think with the launch of the product, Polkadex is really going places. So the team is going to be growing really rapidly soon.
Excellent, excellent. And is there anyone in particular in your team who kind of really runs the show, or is there like or is it more just everybody kind of just handling their own little sections? How does the dynamic work with the team?
So we have three co-founders. They're all from India. They're really a bunch of brilliant people. Two of them are now at their final year of the college, and Polkadot as a technology was the project that they received the grant for, and then it's kind of spiraled from there. Then we have our executive director who's running more the business operations and the general strategy of the business. The rest of the team, our CEO is also the CTO, so he's running all the development work. Then we have Chief Operational Officer, who's the third co-founder. And we have me, who's in charge of marketing, different partnerships, and all of this direction.
Okay, well, yeah, definitely a team effort. Sounds like some really brilliant minds and concepts being put into practice here, which is fantastic. And that's also the wonderful thing about crypto is how it's able to leverage so much brain power and talent from across the globe and just transcend those traditional barriers of space. So I think that's one of the best aspects of it. So it's great to see that happening so much with Polkadex. Um, All right. So crypto is all about collaboration and partnerships, and obviously you guys are partnered with us here at Market Square, and we value that. How important have partnerships been for Polkadex's development?
I would say that they have been very crucial for Polkadot's development because we try to grow our ecosystem in different directions. So we partner both from the technical side to the business side, educational side, and anywhere we can really see that we can add value as a project and bring our own expertise to the market. So in terms of the partnership for the product, I think it was the most crucial part by far because we're still building and we're aiming to launch the product at the end of this year and some parts at the beginning of the next year. So this was very important. We also try to develop our skills as a team, both from product side and the management side as well. So we've been accepted to two really important programs for Polkadex. One of them is Substrate Builders, because as we are building in the Polkadot ecosystem, we're building on Substrate. So it's important for us to have this support, to have this expertise from the Parity team, from people who created Substrate framework. Also, we've been part of the CDL program, which is based in Canada. And this is more tailored around the blockchain businesses. So here we're having a lot of mentorship and a lot of valuable lessons in terms of managing the business, in terms of reaching the business goals, and in general, achieving our roadmap ahead. In terms of different business partnerships, we've done, I think, really good stuff with Market Square in terms of educational resources. We're also partnering with a couple of other companies in the same stream. And we've done some fun partnerships with NFT companies, with our partners in the space, because I think in DeFi, what is really impressive is that you can collaborate with people and people are very open to fresh new ideas, both that are adding value to the project and the product itself, and also bringing value to the community, because essentially community are the people for whom we're building all of this ecosystem.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The community is number one in crypto, and it's a major driving force. And then just in terms of governance and how things are run, changes to the protocol. So it's good to hear that partners, and yeah, it's you've got to have a lot of partners, I think, in a lot of different areas, assisting in various respects, and just extending your reach and just reaching those new audiences and offering that service as an end product. So you mentioned NFTs, and obviously NFTs right now are a huge thing in the crypto space. Do you own any NFTs? And if you do you care to share any of your favorite projects that you really like or that you found very impressive?
I might sound like a traitor of my industry in that sense, but I don't own any NFTs yet.
Uh-huh.
What is really interesting for me is the aspect of combining owning something digital with owning a physical copy of it. So I'm very interested to see, I've heard about a couple of art things that are doing this. So you buy an NFT and you get the physical copy of the painting or the photo that you have. I've also heard that some really big fashion brands are currently doing this type of model. So I would be very interested to tap more into the space, but I didn't have that much of an opportunity yet.
Okay, all right. So you're sort of new to the NFT world and more interested in kind of the marriage between the digital world and the physical assets that
Yes.
sort of underpin those. All right, no, that's fine. I
I'm
think.
looking on the side now and trying to find an opportunity to get in.
All right, all right. I'm sure that'll come up soon enough. But yeah, NFTs I still think are in the early stages as well. I think we're just seeing some of the first generation stuff. Some with utility, others with more or less utility, rarer. So I think there's definitely a lot of value in the space. There's no doubt about it. There's a huge amount of interest, but I still think we've yet to see what NFTs can really do in the physical world and digitally. Now with Polkadex, I've read about gamification DeFi, and that, and it seems to be pretty important for a lot of projects now, like Pancake Swap and DeFi Land. How will gamification work with Polkadix? Can you tell me about that a bit?
Yes, for sure. I think this is one of the funnest steps in our roadmap because this will be something like merging the very serious world of trading and actually working with your money with the fun aspect of having the most out of it and creating something like a game around the whole trading process. We don't have a very clear set of utilities for NFTs yet, but we have a lot of ideas such as rewarding our traders with NFTs, gamifying the trading process through different ranks of traders, doing different competitions and different stuff like that. So I have a couple of projects in mind who might be interested in contributing, and we're in discussions with some of them. So I think it's going to be super interesting for our community.
Okay, so will the community get a say in how gamification works, or are you guys just kind of making the decisions?
We don't have 100% clear roadmap in these terms yet, but as everything in Polkadix is going to be community run and community governed, definitely we will give the opportunity to our members to run the process and have the final say in how everything is going to work.
Okay, so Polkadix is going to be marrying NFTs with DeFi and blockchain-based gaming and that kind of stuff. But you're still trying to iron out the kinks, which is understandable. I guess it's still the early days of the protocol. So, I mean, mainnet launch was just the other day, so it makes perfect sense. All right, so what, in your opinion, is the most crucial aspect that needs to be addressed in order for crypto to be adopted on a global scale?
That's a really good question. I've been at the conference last week where the regulations was heavily discussed, and just in general, the future of decentralized trading, the future of DeFi in general. So I would see that there are two aspects. First of all, the regulations, because now crypto is kind of the gray area and the world is really fractured. So you can see different countries adopting different policies or just making it look like crypto does not exist or making crypto look like a big threat for the whole world now. And at the same time, you have countries like US, where in each state you have different policy towards crypto adoption or against crypto adoption. So I think this is the major point, because majority of people need to have something tangible. So they need to trust crypto, and they need crypto to have this stamp of approval from people who are running the politics, running the countries. So I think this is the huge part. From the technological side of view, I think the big thing now holding crypto from being mass adopted is the usability aspect, because a lot of DeFi protocols now are moving towards usable interfaces, are moving towards creating something that is more relevant for not only crypto native people, but also newbies in the crypto space. So in this sense, it's both the design of protocols, design of web pages, the apps, and also the technology that is also, I think, making huge steps forwards in terms of creating very fast and very approachable interfaces.
Yeah, accessibility is a major problem, I think, especially with DeFi, just because most people view it as extremely complex. So if the protocol can handle a lot of the grunt work, then I think you'll see your user base increase substantially. So yeah, so I think that's one of the main focuses with Polkadix as well, is just trying to increase that usability and that accessibility, as you mentioned. So I think. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. We pay a lot of attention to this because the way we envision Polkadix is the apps, the decentralized apps that can be used by any type of trader with any level of crypto knowledge. So be it the person who is completely new to crypto, or someone who's crypto native and trading professionally for years, or institutions. So we try to create this kind of an app that is that can be used by anyone. So it has to be designed nicely, it has to be nice to look at, nice to use, and very straightforward to navigate. So kind of like the simple one-click solution, because even with centralized exchanges now, it's very ambiguous. I remember the first time when I was opening centralized exchanges, I had to go to YouTube and search for different how-to videos and guides because you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. There's limited guidance. So we're trying to avoid this.
Yeah, there's no doubt that there's very little guidance in the space. So I think it creates distrust when people feel like they can't access things, and they're like, okay, well, this seems shady, or it's kind of a scam, or whatever it might be, or they're going to lose all their money, or they won't be able to access their funds. And obviously, there are horror stories like that as well. So it's trying to just gain that transparency by improving the protocol and making it more transparent and more accessible. So that's yeah, definitely paramount. All right. So, in the span of your personal career, what would you regard as your greatest achievement so far?
That's a tough question. I'm generally very bad at self-assessment and I try to stay in the humble side. So I think my greatest achievements are in the future. But I would say if I have to choose something, I would say that probably the experiences I have the opportunity to go through, especially this year, because it's kind of the year of first for me. And also the people who are surrounding me now, both from the personal side and the professional side. I think this is a good indicator of moving in the right direction for me.
That's a great answer. Very diplomatic. I think
Thank
it
you.
didn't come across as conceited or anything at all. So that's wonderful. You're right, though. It's definitely about the people you're surrounded by and where you're at professionally. And I think just the kind of I guess overall experience in life you're living. So that's I think that's a better way than rather looking at your instances of achievement. It's more like where I am now, and that's what I have achieved. Everything I've achieved to date is what I have right now. So yeah, no, that's an awesome answer. All right. So what is next for Polkadex, and will you be holding any workshops or presenting at any conferences in the near future?
First of all, we have so many things ahead. I think the most important is launch of our core product, which is the order book, and also launch of Polka IDO, which I think is super exciting because it's going to be the first launchpad on the blockchain and one of the very few launchpads on the Polkadot ecosystem. And we see the real need for this kind of product in the industry now. Also, we're going to launch Polkapool, which is going to be the traditional swap protocol with different unique features. But the whole framework of Polkapool is very native for anyone who's already in decentralized finance and uses protocols such as Uniswap, PancakeSwap, or any other kind of swap in different ecosystems. So product launches are the cornerstone of our future. I think other very interesting things are going to be partnerships because when we launch the product and when we're moving closer to the launch dates, we will have more and more opportunities to partner with different interesting people in the industry, interesting projects. And I think the third part of the mix that we as a team are very interested in, as we're trying to make the easier gateway to crypto for crypto newbies. We're trying to focus a lot on the education. So now we're doing it through explaining each and every step of Polkadot, explaining different parts of the industry that are crucial for us moving forward. So in the future, we see it's something like an academy that centralized exchanges are usually doing, but I would like to have it more interactive and have like a place for people who can come to crypto, who can spend, let's say, a week or 2 weeks learning different aspects and become more or less crypto native.
All right. So there's a lot on the cards for Polkadex. There's a lot of work still to be done. I guess mainnet is kind of
Yes.
the first major step in a very long and storied journey. So
Yes.
I'm
Mhm.
sure that we're going to. I think this is just one of many chats we're going to have. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure of that. But yeah, that's all fantastic. It sounds very exciting, and we're very enthusiastic and eager to see what you guys come up with and where the project goes in the very near future and beyond that.
Likewise.
Yeah. So I think just to wrap this all up and everything, it's kind of what I usually ask everybody because it's, I don't know, it just seems like a logical closing question. But is there anything you'd like to say to those people or persons who might be hesitant about crypto and DeFi?
I would say again that the most important thing is education, because for me, what kind of tipped me off the edge and what made me come to the crypto side was understanding how everything works and why digital assets starting from Bitcoin have value. So I think after everything spirals from there. So for me, it was really interesting to learn things on the stories of real people. So the book that really sparked my interest in digital assets was Digital Gold by Nathaniel Popper.
Yeah.
What I liked and what I found really unique about it is that I think especially for people who are living in Europe or living in US, the economies that were relatively relatively far from being into economic crisis in the past century or having currency devaluations and these things, it's really important to see that these things are happening across the world, and countries like Venezuela, for example, or Argentina, were going through many currency devaluations, many economic crises. So there is a huge use case and there is a huge need for something like digital assets. So after that, I think the whole notion of decentralized finance becomes very understandable. So I would say that if anyone wants to learn about cryptocurrencies, the good starting point is just getting as much information as they can about this and kind of creating their own canvas why it might be important.
Yeah, so education is number one in the space. Don't just blindly buy into stuff and hope to make a buck and pump and dumps and that kind of thing. So that's very, very important. And I
Less
think as
stress
well,
as well.
sorry?
Less stress as well.
Less stress. Yes, it can be very stressful trying to. There's a difference between investing and buying assets and gambling. There's a fundamental difference there.
Yes.
But as I was going to say, I think Tyler from another interview, he talked about crypto as programmable money, and I kind of enjoyed that definition. I thought the idea of being able to program money and to have money that has intrinsic value and that can do something. And I think that's what people don't really understand with the digital economy, is that the utility of digital assets is essentially infinite, if you really think about it. And I think that's what people can't really grasp at this point, just because they have a very finite view of what money is and what value is. And I think we need to move past that and into a space where we do have a better understanding of the potential to use money in a more meaningful way than just sitting in a bank and being used arbitrarily to finance all manner of different industries, which may in fact be harmful to the planet and to us as a species. So I think there's a huge case, use case rather for crypto. So yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Completely agree, because if you think about it, this is pure economics. This is creating markets purely based on supply and demand, which is actually how the whole economy was supposed to be.
Yes, yeah, precisely. Pure economics is another one I think I'm going to have to quote. It's pure economics. Yes, it's programmable money and it's pure economics. So that's what we need to focus on, and I think that's the takeaway here for me today. All right, Ksenia, I just want to say thank you once again for joining us for this interview. It's been absolutely wonderful having you. We will be watching Polkadex's progress with great interest. As I mentioned, it's a very, very impressive project. And I think to everyone out there, if you haven't checked it out yet, you're doing yourself a disservice by not checking out the site and the socials and following this project as closely as possible, because it is a major, major game changer. And you don't want to miss out. And we're definitely going to be covering Polkadex as they roll out more features and more services. And hopefully we'll be talking to Ksenia sooner than later. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bryn, for inviting. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.